So he will be discussing TAVI, transcatheter aortic valve replacement insights into innovation and what is new. So the TAVI has become very gradually becoming fashionable with the interventional cardiologist, and so persons are aging, and naturally the lot of persons aging, and the indications are gradually coming for little bit younger age groups, and that is what Dr. Gupta will be telling. Let us hear from him.
Thank you, Chairperson. First of all, I thank the organizers, including Dr. Dhiman Kahali, Rakesh Yadav, Dr. Gupta, for giving me this opportunity. Of course, TAVI has been my heart because I worked with Alan Krieger. And he was the only version, and unfortunately no more. Sudden cardiac death, never expected. So I will talk about a few insights into the innovation, because when I worked with him in 96, 98, the process of his thinking and planning was on. So I know quite a bit about that. So coming on to the TAVI, bedside to bedside, insights into innovation and tribute to Alan Krieger. So my wonderful stay 96 to 98, Dr. Srinivas, we worked together in SGPGI. I went to France. He came to Hyderabad. And that was a wonderful time also. Less stress, less stress that time in SGPGI, more when you become consultant. Okay, so this was few top pictures which I want to share, especially my young son and Alan Krieger on bike coming my home, my place. So I will share a little more videos which I had with Alan Krieger, especially the last video and few seconds of his thought. Can you have the loud sound up, please?
Patients cannot be operated on for surgical.
This was the last video which I recorded with him when he came to CSI last year.
So many patients cannot be operated on for surgical valve replacement, and this is why I developed a non-surgical technique, for doing the same, replacing the aortic valve without surgery. And so I started in 2002, and now we have more than 3 million patients implanted in the world, in more than 80 countries. So it's a very big success, which was absolutely unpredictable. So today, in a single year like 2022, we had 200,000 patients implanted in the same year in the world. And just to give you an idea of the development of this technology, which allowed to replace the aortic valve under local anesthesia, with very short hospitalization, and the patients are able to be discharged after the operation just 2 days later. And so it's very successful, and so I was very happy to be invited in Calcutta for the CSI meeting, where I presented the history of development of this technology, and people were really very much interested, and they welcomed me with a lot of enthusiasm. So this is where we are today, and the future is bright.
We never expected that this would be the last video with him. October 2019. Of course, there are a few more people working with very big angioplasty. It was a very complex performing that time when I worked with him. I go to this slide quickly, how humorous he was. Sorry.
The pleasure again. So this is not fair.
I came to my residence in France, and then this was another video which I had with him. Of course, many more videos, but which I wanted to share was when he was 20-year TAVI celebration. My son on his piano, and then which I wanted to share with you. This was his welcome address, this one. So this was...
I'm Professor Dr. Vivek Gupta, and it's my big privilege.
This subject in 85, so it's a long time ago. I started to introduce in the world the technique of balloon aortic.
This was in Charles, just outside the office in France.
Trying to improve the situation of the patients, and then there was some kind of restenosis or restenosis, and I started with the idea of replacing the aortic valve using a transfemoral approach.
So coming on to the next slide, which I want to tell you how the historical had happened actually. Next 3-4 minutes, and then I will finish off. So I think the movie is moving very fast. I think it's better to go by this. Sorry. So, developing TAVI, a long road littered with pitfalls. Lessons learned from the experience of the future innovators. Having an idea is not enough. Translating it into the reality requires a combination of elements proving that your idea is good, mental strength capable of overcoming criticism, finding the right partners and finances to advance, rigorous scientific research, respecting the process of optimal translation research, and failure of any of these elements can lead to published in 1986. And of course, after that, 20 years, 2002, he developed the TAVI and film circulation. The single goal for these two linked innovation to provide a life-saving therapeutic option for the patient with symptomatic AS and decline for surgical value replacement. In 2000, one-third was symptomatic AS, non-operable, mortality at more than 80% 2-year follow-up, and therefore there was a need for such innovation. In 1985, the glory was there, but then breakup because of the recurrence, of course, the TAVI implantation. So 1994 to 98, this is the most important slide. The TAVI, the 15-year-old long walk from the idea to the first in man. First in man BAV was done in 1985. I told you just now, early valve restenosis, how to overcome the limitation. TAVI was thought process. 1987, opinion of experts. He discussed with the expert. He said balloon expandable stented valve. 1987, he said they said impossible and insane. Stented inside the aortic valve in autopsy patients. Then they started looking for 94 to 98. For a sponsor, and there was no sponsor. The same company, Medtronic and Edwards, which are selling the valve like hotcake today, they said the most stupid project ever heard, just forget it. And they never gave up. And the percutaneous valve technology was a company registered in New Jersey in USA, along with Martin Leon. And Alan Clifford and Martin Leon, they created a PVT company, partnership with Aaron in Israel, and PVT heart valve in 2000, they made a trial. And we were testing sheep model by Dr. Kriban and Shanina. More than 100 such cases experimentation were done before they thought that they will be able to do the first case. And first case, 2 years later, was moving between to reality, was the first case. And this was, you say, sorry. So first in man was a 57 multiple comorbidities. Acute limb ischemia, occluded aortic femoral floating thrombus, no femoral access, failed transeptal BAV. So this was a patient where actually they wanted to do retrograde, but they finally had to get antegrade because there was no femoral pulses available. On the table, they decided to go from the femoral vein to the right atrium to the septal, transeptal, then left atrium, left ventricle, and then going into the aorta. So this was, I think, the most difficult case which was done by him in a very sick patient of a hypertension patient. And of course, second bomb blast with the within community, and they said him again. So echocardiography, they proved that this patient was doing well after a few days. From 2002 to 2005, there were from 2002 to 2005, the first Roman series, a 38 patient, compassionate patients were done, and better result could be anticipated. And they are very, very sick patients. Key role of patient improvement and early recognition and expansion of TAVI. First steps of TAVI offshore, then John Webb from Vancouver, Bernard O'Neill from Detroit, Martin Leo, New York. Of course, Dr. Kevin Ruma, Rotterdam, Patrick Saraj, London, Colombo, they started doing a lot of patients. 2005, the 100 patient mark was passed. From 2002 to 2005, in 3 years, 100 patient was passed. Edward Life Sciences acquired PVT. This was a very important day when Edward, the same company which rejected the idea, they acquired on PVT. TAVI enters a new era. Creeper Edward valve was initially said, and then it became Edward Sapien valve. John Webb, and this of course District Germany, they also started doing an approach which is a retrograde approach. So self-expanding valve at the same time was being developed by Herbert Durube, Laborde and Jacques Seguin, and of course they were. From 2005, the reason for success it has been exponential expansion, continuous and rapid technological improvement. From 2005, Edward Sapien, 2009, Edwards XT, 2012, Sapien 3, 14 French sheets, and since 2020, Sapien 3 Ultra, and Agilia, they came up. Same time, Medtronic, which was the self-expanding valve, they developed Evolute R, Evolute Pro, and Pro Plus. Then Boston Scientific and Merrill also, they started developing their own valve. Of course, the Merrill was the other company which was doing a balloon expandable valve. The reason for success has been because of the consequences of transferable approach become the default strategy. Transferable approach become the process simpler, faster, safer, and increase the number of potential candidates for TAVI. Minimalist approach is very important. Now we are also doing the same. In USA, they were most of the time they were doing with general anesthesia and with a lot of people inside. But in Roma, this is Ellen Elsharina, who was number 2 after Ellen Cribier. Local anesthesia, pure percutaneous approach, no transincubator approach. Femoral artery percutaneous system, which we are doing, but they started doing by the time 2007 and 2008. No, and then of course, reason for success, millions of patients enrolled, rigorous scientific evaluation, partner 1, partner 2, partner 3. Partner 3 was a low risk, and this was actually 2019 FDA approval game. In partner 2, intermediate risk, and you add partner 1, confirmed inoperable high risk versus surgical valve replacement. So the hypothesis of TAVI came when FDA approved TAVI for low risk patients in more than 65 years, but European, they say that more than 75 years, more than 30 lakhs TAVI performed worldwide, more than 80 countries to now. I did recently a case which was done by Edward Valve, SIFTIN 3. I just wanted to highlight that these days, even sometimes direct valve implantation is also a strategy. I want to highlight before I finish off the last slide that it's the first case which was done by us, by Edward XT valve in 2011. The first Indian patient treated, not in India, because in India it was not available by the time 2011. We had to fly the patient to France, and then of course this patient was treated in 40 Edward XT valve by Alan Krieger. I was scrubbed as number 2, but this patient did very well for 9 years, and the patient died recently because of some other comorbid conditions. So this was Edward XT valve and deployed very well in 2011. The first Indian patient was not done in India, but of course from India, but it was in 2014-15 we started having ICCCON approval, and then only we were able to do in India. So this was a very good patient, successfully done by Alan Krieger. The first Indian patient had high creatinine, comorbid conditions, patient 84-year-old, and of course a very severe valve stenosis. The last slide which I want to present about this is TAVI, developing TAVI a long journey. 1985, first in man, balloon aortic valvoplasty. 94, Roma autopsy studies, concept of valvular stenting in aortic stenosis. 99, purpose valve technology startup company, animal experimental sheep model. 2002, first in man. 2003, Fluma feasibility studies. 2004, Edward Life Sciences takeover. 5 and 7 feasibility studies, CE mark, Europe 2007, since 2007 to 8, 9 partner 2, partner 3, and of course this expansion of all outcomers. So in 2025, TAVI is a recognized medical breakthrough, thanks to the people who innovated it, including Dr. Of course, the first in man was done with Dr. Krieger, but many more people, they did it, lot of it, and within coming years, TAVI become the most suitable therapy for calcific aortic stenosis. TAVI has saved life and improved the quality of life for thousands of lakhs of patients now, who otherwise would be left untreated with a catastrophic outcome. So I gave a small tribute to, this was in 2022, they had a 2012, they made a 10th anniversary, then 22, they made a 20th anniversary, and then of course after that, the further is not there. So this was, I want to talk about the insights on innovation. Innovation is not easy. As the first slide says, you have to have a concept, you have an idea, you have to have reference, you have to sponsor, you have to have perseverance. That's most important before designing any such thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Vivek, for sharing your experiences, and more than anything, Alan Krieger was also very down-to-earth person, very nice, always approachable to talk to him, and always he was ready to help. That's a very nice personality too. Unfortunately, we lost because of certain character. Thank you, Vivek. I think we are running behind schedule. We have already crossed at 6. We close the session.
Thank you, Srinivas. I mean, there's no doubt that there is going to be another Alan Krieger. One thing which I want to talk, which is being recorded, is that I have traveled all the world. I have never seen a single person criticizing him.
Yes.
You see, when you are at a higher position and you have a lot of people who are friends, and there are people who are not your friends, and they sometimes say, which may be partially negative, not completely. But I have never heard anybody, all over the world, America, Europe, anywhere, Australia, anybody talking about negative about Alan Krieger. That was his beauty, I think.
Great personality. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Actually, we could not cover the first topic, that is the role of calcium scoring in low risk of coronary artery disease, and I request Dr. Srinivas to give a little bit of 2-3 sentences on this topic.
Completion sake, basically calcium